Hi, puppy. Quick video today, guys. A little tip on these feed and water containers. I started off using these little cups, and they provide a pretty good amount of food and water. But the problem was when the birds are a little picky and they start sifting through, there's a lot of feed waste that goes through them, and some birds are worse than others with waste. And it's the same thing with the grit. They kind of push the grit around, and you lose a lot of grit in the bottom. So my flying partner this year has tons of these, and this is what he's been using for years, and they work great. You just cut a little hole out in them. A lot of times there's already a little indent for a hole there, so it's perfect. Just trace it with a little knife and cut it right out. So that's what we're using. I've got feed in one, grit in the other, and I'm working on putting water in the other because, you know, I change the water every day, but a lot of contaminants get in the water just in a 24-hour period. So it would be nice to have them in this and avoid some of that dust getting in the water, even though we're still going to change them every day. And so, yeah, that's what I'm using. Here is what I'm doing for a grit mix. We have your basic red grit here. Comes in a bag like that there. And then we're using, this has a lot of red grit in it as well, but it's a mixture of other things. It looks like it has some different, like seashells in it, and it has an anise oil, so it smells really good, like anise. And then, since we're breeding right now, I'm adding a little bit of this extra oyster shell for calcium and stuff, so for these hens that are laying. So that's what they're on, and this is what we're doing. We've got lots of these. We're switching our grit over right now. I'm in the process of doing that. I had thrown a few peanuts. I'm trying to get these birds on raw peanuts, but they've never had them before, so they don't particularly care for them. So I've been throwing a few on top of the grit so I can see if they're eating them, and they're eating on some of them. So anyways, yeah, we're just basically taking this over, pouring this into our new cups. These new containers hold a little bit extra, so we're taking and we're adding extra from this yellow bucket here, which this is actually a mix of all three of these. So, yep. That's what I'm doing for food and water containers, guys. Works really great. And minimal waste. I mean, if you can imagine, with that little hole, they get their head in there and they start pushing around and sifting. All the feed hits the walls and falls back in. You lose a lot less feed. So, before, when I was using these cups on the feed, I mean, they were spilling 3/4 of it straight out right into that grate, and I was just losing tons of feed. So all that spilled feed does go to the chickens, but I'd rather it go to the pigeons first as much as possible. So I'm signing off of here this morning. Have a good day. Happy 2024 breeding.